Welcome to Three Cops Talk. On this podcast, three active duty police officers discuss behind-the-scenes stories and real-life accounts of what it's like to be a cop. Every episode, you'll get an inside look at the challenges and dangers they face on a daily basis, as well as the triumphs and inspirational moments that make it all worth it. If you want to understand more about the men and women who put their lives on the line for us every day, then this is the show for you. And now your hosts, Chris, Scott, and Sean.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Three Cops Talk. This is Sean. I am here from South Carolina, hopefully for good right now.
Stop, bro.
As you can tell, there's the Polish fog. Uncle Rich, Uncle Chris is here from Florida joining us.
What's up?
And believe it or not, Big Sergeant Scott is back with us.
The comic relief is back.
He's done.
Back.
He just made sure that everybody had their traffic control vests for the vernal equinox ceremony in the municipality that he serves. He made a sacrifice under the human.
It's a big deal.
Human sacrifice it was, right? It wasn't just a chicken
deal,
this year. It was actually upgraded to human sacrifice under the Caroline Tower. They were like, Caroline Towers are really cool because, like, what song is he playing? That's what my head always sounds like bells going off like that. Like you can't really.
I think there's a playground.
I moved into a position now where I actually play the songs though, like Phantom of the Opera, and I have that mask on, and and I'm playing the songs from down there.
Is that and you're out there and you're like, is that an Oingo Boingo song? What's he playing? Like Dead Man's Party? What is that?
Dead Man's Party?
It's like, and you're like, no, that was like Beethoven. And you're like, oh. Okay, it's a Caroline Tower, so I don't really know the difference. But our guest is Ariana Stone. She's been a police officer in Illinois for now 6 years. She's a graduate of Aurora University and does that school very proud in the agency that she serves as well. So, Ariana, thanks for being with us. We can't thank you enough.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Help you promote your business. So why don't you tell us a little backstory on you, as much as you want to, and we'll go from there.
Let's see. Well, I grew up in the community that I actually serve, so I guess I got a little bit of a head start on that geography-wise when I actually came to work for that agency.
That's always nice.
That was my one plus in FTO.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. But,
right. Geography fails a lot of people. So
it's true. It's true. Or you realize people don't know which way they're going, and it adds up. But no, and like Sean said, I grew up in the area, went to AU, interned with him at Naperville, had a wonderful supervisor.
Thank you.
Who luckily didn't give me too many harsh nicknames, but
that was her first foray into harmless mental health related issues, I'd say, more than anything else.
Yeah, that was my first introduction to mental health.
What you're saying is your full background was Sean was one of the most significant things in your background.
1,000%.
At least that's what he likes to think.
Oh,
so it's good. Yeah.
There was just something that was unlocked back there, and
it was something
unlocked, and I was like, I got to do this. Sean's here every day. I got to do it.
I'm Qui-Gon, and she's Obi-Wan. Yeah. Is what it is. Exactly. Anyway,
just the little voice in my head is Sean. Right, so there you go.
There you go.
But no, working in law enforcement, and honestly, I didn't really deal with mental health or anything that I would see as something that would be seen as anxiety or depression until I got into law enforcement. And I think that was kind of a scary moment for me because I'm like, this is actually something that people deal with on the daily, whether that's childhood trauma, any other kind of, trauma, anything else they go through. And I'm like, people live with this every day and not even to the extent that I experienced it. And I can say it now that people would come to me and, be like, oh, they're feeling anxious or whatever. And I'm like, oh, like you're just kind of overwhelmed, like no big deal. But then once I actually started physically feeling it and being like, what is this? And I'm being told this is anxiety. And I'm like, this sucks. This fucking sucks. I'm like, so okay.
Now I know what they're talking about.
Yeah, now I can actually empathize.
I got shingles, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, wow, you just hear about it and then you get it and you're like, wow.
Right. Well, and then part of me felt like, honestly, I kind of felt like an asshole because I'm like, I shouldn't say all these people, but people that had told me how they were feeling, and I kind of just brushed it aside, being like, oh, I don't want to say that suck it up mentality, but I was one of those people, I mean, I didn't, my mom wasn't totally like the suck it up kind, but she definitely wasn't. She was like, figure your shit out. And that's how I was.
Yeah. Move on.
Get on with it. Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I'll tell you, it was our riots in my town in 2020, I think, was really kind of the eye-opening thing for me, because it wasn't really that I was nervous like while we were out there. I think it was just more of everyone has pucker moments in our our line of work, and that was definitely one of them.
Oh yeah, right.
And I think with that, I was like, I'm like feeling kind of weird going to work. And again, it wasn't like a scared feeling, but I just felt off. And I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and I'm just like, I don't know what is this. She's like, it's anxiety. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, I'm fine. Like, it's whatever.
Right.
And I went to the doctor.
No, it is. Yeah.
Right. And I went to the doctor, and I'm telling her how I feel. I'm like, yeah, I don't really feel excited about stuff anymore. I feel worked up all the time. And she's like, yeah, it's anxiety. And I'm like, oh, all right. Well, I guess now it's confirmed through a medical professional that that's what it is.
Right.
But
I mean, there's no doubt, though. I mean, just to her point, we were rolling around. You guys remember we were rolling around because we boarded them. We talked about it, and we heard what was going on in their radios, and we were like, wow, it is busting some initiative here and really put myself out there and also start a business in the process of that. So tell us a little bit about the business and what it is, the name of it, obviously what the goal of it is, and what product you try to supply people.
Yeah. So the name of my brand is Limitless Momentum. And it's just more bringing awareness to mental health. Obviously, no one wants to walk around wearing a T-shirt like, I need to go to therapy, or something as, subtle as that.
I swear to God, I would.
Would you?
I would.
I'm going to make one specifically for you and send it to you.
I got to go to therapy. It's like, remember the old fingers?
I was
stupid. Point, though.
I was psycho
about all this.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that to a certain degree devalues the idea, but it's like you're making a joke of this situation. That's something we all are. Don't get me wrong. That's not
absolutely.
Like what you said, it's just like, how do you do this in a manner that, like, cops have to deal with this all the time. Right. And the way we talk to each other, people get so offended. Like, how do you do this? Like, because like we're literally bathed in this stuff, whether it's internally or externally. We've had coping mechanisms where we all kind of know, like, hey, we are a little all off to do this work see the things that we have.
You got to compartmentalize it too.
Right.
Yeah, but back in the day, though,
the compartmentalizing is through humor.
Right. But back in the day, coppers would always hang out with just coppers. They were just 24/7. It was like the mob. You wouldn't go outside that circle, and a lot of people just kind of hung out together and did things together, and that all kind of stayed, hush hush and silent. Well, as we evolved in the police world and realized, hey, there's other interests that I don't have to be with my police friends all the time, and all this other. It started becoming more and more prevalent.
The value of diversity again.
Right.
We fought it tooth and nail. You know what I mean? And here we are. Right.
So then you started this business, and then what's the premise of it?
So the premise is just, mental health awareness. Again, there's other companies out there that have it as more of like, everything's going to be okay. But of course you want to give someone, I don't want to say give someone that hope, but you're like, everyone hopes that everything turns out okay. Or everyone hopes that everything's going to be okay. So mine, I don't want to say macabre's not the word that I'm looking for, but like, it's a little more subtle and it's a little more direct, or just even something like, you can't see it, but it's like, you good? Like something simple, just asking that.
And what she says, what's one of the sayings is on her shirts is like, this is something that cops say to each other all the time. And they just say it just like you're breathing or you're digesting. You're not really taking credit for any part of that process. It just kind of happens. And you say, you good? Hey, you good? Like you come into a room, like I remember on SWAT for years, or on a drug search warrant, you come in a room, I see Scott, you good? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I didn't know what he was good or bad. I was just looking for a yes. And a guy would very rarely say no, for that matter. And when I say guys, it was an all guy unit or an all guy team. So the idea of you good is something that we understand within our world. Like you good needs to mean more than it has for the last several decades. It
doesn't.
Like, you say, so you good? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. It's just
it's
like,
it's got to be.
I know that being
good. Yeah, it's got to be more than after a physical fight, because we had that the other day. Some guy would kind of whack-a-doodle, and we ended up fighting stuff, and then afterwards it's all you good, and that's just physical. I think as we get older and as things evolve, I think we're starting to learn now more and more that you good means like are you good inside out?
Like you good should be a phrase that we see all over the place. Like we see, like, I do God's work. Like that was the thing that I always saw when I was new. Like we do God's work. Like the idea of like, we go out and do the things that God, sends the strong to do, kind of a thing. It was like scripture type thing, if you believe in that sort of thing. And I think you good's probably just as important as seeing thin blue line stuff around there anyway. And I mean, my goal is to help promote it on that level. So like everywhere you go, you see you good, you know what that means. It's like, people put you good on the back of their car. It's like, oh, you're not going to get a ticket today. Like you put the FOP medallion that you
next thing, car
or whatever. Like, I mean, seriously, because everyone is going to openly acknowledge that. And I'm trying to market for you too. So whatever it is, I mean, I need a marketing director. I'll be glad to come help out. But
he wants a free shirt.
Right.
He's like, my son took my shirt. I need another one.
Yeah, I need another one.
Yeah, right. I do.
I don't have a shirt.
But again, to that point, now let's talk a little bit about going to their webpage where you can shop. You can go there and look at all the different product. It is geared more towards a mainstream audience, a younger, maybe people, police officers wear hoodies, it's part of the culture, things like that, T-shirts, hats, things like that we're big at. So go there and check the stuff out. There's a lot of different,
What's the website, Ariana?
So it's www.limitlessmomentum.co. So not com, just co.co.
So it's Limitless Momentum.co.
I'm just going to go with
we can we'll come back at this and we'll definitely record some stuff with you for some shows, and then you can use it for whatever product you want for you. We can advertise vice versa, as heard on Three Cops Talk, as we say. Whatever. I mean, this is the dynamic that we can form in doing that and helping each other.
Absolutely.
It's a worthwhile cause, that's for sure. So why don't you, Ariana, tell us one more time the places people can go, how they can get a hold of you, how they can get on Limitless Momentum, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so the website's www.limitlessmomentum.co, and then Limitless Momentum Co. is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I have not made a TikTok yet, but it's on the agenda. Even though I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person to do it, but it's
you got
for the marketing, it's got to be done, unfortunately.
You got to do it.
I know.
Do it.
I know. Right. Yes, Limitless Momentum Co. and all socials. So,
and I'm going to give you a marketing tip. If you get T-shirts on animals, especially dogs, that's the hot thing right now. I'm serious.
My kid just asked me that. It's funny you said that. My youngest son said to me, Dad, why don't you guys get dog shirts? And I'm like,
that's why I'm here.
That could actually, for service animals, you're onto something.
There you go. Bam.
You're onto something.
You want to talk about somebody needs to talk to someone about
shit that
all
my money on llamas.
This guy.
Right.
All right, Napoleon Dynamite.
Right. Tina, come eat your crap.
Tina, you fat lord.
Yeah. Tina, you good?
Tina, you good? There's the time.
That is the next shirt. Everybody, thank you so much for listening to this show. Please go to limitlessmomentum.co and make some purchases, donate because it's for a great cause. Mental health is a major issue. We had a number of shows on it. Also, if you go to our website, 3copstalk.com, the number 3copstalk.com. You could listen to past shows. You could leave emails, questions or concerns, and suggestions for shows. And if not, you could just email us direct, 3copstalk@gmail.com, the number 3copstalk@gmail.com. And also, please tell everybody that you know to please go where they get their podcasts, listen, subscribe, download. We'd much appreciate it because we really want to get the world into a better place via our show. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ever wanted to ask a police officer a question? Mail your questions to 3copstalk@gmail.com. That's the number 3copstalk@gmail.com, and we'll answer them on the show. Follow us on Instagram at 3copstalk. That's the number 3copstalk. Thanks for listening, and stay safe out there.